What is up, YouTube? I have another video here. This is on my Galaxy S6, and as that folder name would suggest, I do have it rooted. And what I'm going to show you is some pretty cool things you can do once you root your phone. Now, if you're unsure how to root your phone, or if you're unsure if you can do it without messing something up, I would recommend not. But if you feel like it's something you can do, it isn't very difficult, I'm going to show you some really cool things you can do. I don't have that many root apps, as you can see, installed here. These are just a few minor things that I like to do, and this is really the reason why I root my phone. Number one, Greenify. What Greenify does, force closes all background apps that you select. Up here, the plus sign, you can add any app you want, even system apps if you do get the paid version. I actually don't recommend adding system apps, though, to the list to be force closed, because that tends to cause a lot of stability issues. But at the very least, user apps can be force closed, and I have not had much problem with that. So what you do here, press this button, and it is going to close down all those apps. This is the same as if you went to the settings menu and you opened up the app. I'll actually just show you here. Basically, what this app is doing is making this process a whole lot faster. So you go to Application Manager, open up, I'll just pick an app, All Reader. You hit Force Stop. It's doing that's exactly what Greenify is doing, except it's making it a whole lot faster. It takes about 3 seconds. The next one is App Quarantine. What this does is, this is a very good way to get rid of some pesky bloatware that basically every phone comes pre-installed with. I have the T-Mobile version of the Galaxy S6, and mine was particularly packed with, as you can see, a lot of just extra applications that nobody probably ever uses, and I have no idea why they pre-installed them. But at any rate, you can quarantine them, which basically completely removes them from the running processes. It completely disables the app, really, which I've noticed does not really save you a lot of space. So if space is your concern, then that will probably not help, but what it'll do is at least keep it from hogging your RAM and CPU power. And the nice thing is, the apps are quarantined. They are not uninstalled. So if for some reason you need to enable those apps, then you're safe, and that's a very good thing. I've actually had bad experiences before where I've completely uninstalled system apps, then when I needed them for something, was unable to reinstall those apps, and that caused a lot of problems. So this way the apps are safe, they're simply disabled, and they can be disabled by checking these boxes. You just check a few here, then you hit the padlock icon there in the upper right. That re-enables the app, and now it's there to be used. But this way, these apps, like I said, are completely disabled. If you go to the Play Store, they will not show for updates or anything like that. They won't bug you about updating these apps. So it's very convenient like that. There's that option, and then this one is the one that actually does completely uninstall system apps. What I've done with this one is, my phone came pre-installed with Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger, which I don't use often, but also they came installed as system apps, which means you cannot use Greenify here to force close them from the background, which means they were back there taking up a lot of RAM and processing power from my phone and slowing everything down. So what I did is I completely uninstalled them and then installed them from the Play Store. But when I installed them from the Play Store, of course, they install as user apps, which means they can be force closed. So that is the root uninstall option. Again, I would recommend for most things to simply use the app quarantine option, this one here, because that's much safer. But in this case, I had to actually completely uninstall those apps to get the process to work, to be able to install them from the Play Store. So the last one here, Titanium Backup. In this app, I would have bought it 3 times over and paid $6 each time, which is how much it cost, $5.99 actually, if that's what they had asked, because this app is the best backup solution I've ever encountered for Android, and believe me, I have tried just about everything you can think of. I have, again, a Samsung phone, so I do have the option of backing up through keys, except that I'm rooted, so I can't use that option, and I don't like backing up through keys anyway. It never really works quite right, and the app itself is very unreliable to me. So even if I were not rooted, I would not use keys. But I've used a number of other options, whether options that require root or do not. In any case, I've never found a very good backup solution until somebody recommended Titanium, and I would highly recommend getting the paid version. There is a free version. It is, I believe, ad supported. Excuse me. There's one big problem with the free version, though. See right there, Fast Auto App Install. On the free version, you do not have that option, which means when you restore from a backup, you have to manually reinstall all of your apps. And if you are like me, that's a very time-consuming process. In fact, let's see. This is going to tell me how many user apps I actually have installed. And oh, look at that, 78. Okay, so reinstalling manually 78 user apps would probably take hours. Also, with the paid version, so with the paid version, with that hypershell, again requires root access, but with the hypershell, you could reinstall 78 apps with all the information, by the way, all of the data. If it's a note app, you would have all your notes. If it's a calendar app, whatever it is, you would have all of that back in the app. In fact, if it's an app that requires a login, which is virtually any app now, I guess, it would actually save that login information. You would not have to manually re-log into the app. And that whole process takes about 5 minutes instead of taking several hours if you had the paid or the free version. Here is this menu here, and this is nice because it also gives you the option to back up user apps, gives you the option to back up system information, gives you the option to back up all of the above, which is what I always do. Gives you the option, if you update apps, update newer app versions. Gives you options to do really a whole lot of things that I have probably not even tried half of these. Gives you a good cache clearing option. Just gives you a whole lot of options there. Again, this one does require root and will not function at all if you are not rooted. So, but this app itself is really well worth rooting your phone.